Hello there, valued viewers. Good day to you and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, just welcome. I'm glad you're here. I can tell you guys right now, I am super glad to be here. Today, we are going to be working on a 2006 Infiniti. I believe it is the FX35 model. That's a 3.5 liter V6 engine. This car, or truck rather, I think this is listed as a truck, but this vehicle comes to us today. The customer states they saw some smoke coming from under the hood and they smell something burning, which is kind of not a surprise at 151,915 miles on the odometer. So as you can see, the wipers are going off for no reason. We've got this thing in the shop already. I've already inspected it. Now they're on high for no reason. I don't know how to operate this car. Anyway, it's all set up on the rack. We are going to raise this thing up, take a look down below. We've got an oil leak going on, so let's take a gander at it and see just how severe our leak is. And then we're going to go ahead and move on the repair. Now, being a 3.5 liter Infiniti, this thing has one serious intake manifold assembly. So we're not going to get away with an easy repair. We've got to pull the entire intake system off just to get down to the engine, because the entire plenum pretty much covers the top of the engine, similar to an engine cover. So let's get this thing up in the air. Let's get it inspected so we all know what we're doing and we're on the same page here. And then we'll get started with getting this thing fixed up. Real quick, I want to ask you guys, anybody who owns a Nissan Infiniti product, something I kind of just noticed. Does your dashboard suffer from, I don't even know what to call this. Is it leprosy? You see that that bubbly bit of business going on here on the finish? This is a vinyl dash. It appears that this is ultraviolet activated, because we don't have any of this bubble business going on over here on the parts that don't receive a boatload of sunlight. But if we pry up this dash cover, that's horrible. It looks like boiling lava. I don't even know how to describe this. It's very bubbly and the surface seems to be separated. Anybody out there with a Infiniti slash Nissan product that has experienced a similar cosmetic epic failure, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm curious to see how common this is. I've only seen one other vehicle that's had this, and it was pretty much just as severe as what we're looking at right here. So yeah, let me know. Taking a quick audience poll on Infiniti slash Nissan owners. So now, let's go ahead, hit the up button on our lift here, and we're gonna take a look at the seeping petroleum products. Alrighty, back up at the top of the lift here. Let's sneak down below and we can get a gander at what the issue is here. So right off the bat, I see a bunch of oil kind of everywhere on the bottom of this engine. The transmission bell housing is covered in it. A bunch of oil on top of the steering gear. And you see that exhaust right there? Looks like the heat shield on the left, and the manifold itself seems to have some oil dripping on it. And if we look up a little bit higher, we can see oil dripping off of that bolt way up there. See that? So it appears that the oil origination is coming from highest up on top of the engine. And we can also see right here at that exhaust flange and that manifold how oil's just been running down that, and that it's dripping, covering the steering gear and pooling up on top of this lower engine cover area right here. So what normally we would do is we're going to look at the highest point of possible leaks first and then go down from there. I suspect and we believe that this is just a valve cover gasket leak, and it's pretty severe too, because look at here, they've got fresh oil dripping right on the floor. Now this thing's only been in here for you know, what, about 12-13 hours or so. We pulled it in last night and set it up on the rack, and this morning there's already a drip with no engine running. So that is a pretty severe leak. I imagine we're losing quite a bit of engine oil. Okay, back in the engine compartment, we are taking a look down. You can see our manifold right down yonder past this this hose. Right here to the right, under this wiring harness, we can see some of the bolts for the perimeter of the valve cover gasket, and I see a boatload of engine oil right here on that little flange, and out back on the last bolt in the corner, kind of tough to see with low light, but there's a whole bunch of oil back there on the corner of that valve cover gasket. This side over here appears to be in similar condition. A lot of oil running out. Nothing to see on this side. The intake's in the way. So what we're gonna have to do, the way we're gonna get started here, is we're gonna take the air filter box out, tubing coming out, this little baffle comes out, and then this intake plenum has to come apart. There's two pieces, a top section and a bottom section. So we've got to unbolt the top section, get this thing off of here, then we can unbolt the bottom section from the cylinder heads, then remove that, and that will give us access to both of our valve covers. And then we can pull those guys off and re-gasket them. Now, like I said, we kind of already knew what the deal is with this leak, so I've pre-ordered components. We've got the valve cover gasket set right here, and this right here is the upper and lower intake manifold gasket set. I went ahead and ordered a set of spark plugs just in case, because we're going to be pulling the ignition coils off. So I figured it would behoove us to pull one of the plugs out while we're in there and just inspect them. If they're in good shape, we'll leave them alone, and if they're not, then we were prepared and ready to rock and roll with a set of new plugs. So all that being said, let's go ahead and get to it. This is about a 3.5 hour job, and we don't have all day, so let's get going. Opening the hood.
Oh, look who that guy is.
All right, folks, let's go ahead and get this party started. We're gonna pull back some of the clamps, get this tubing assembly removed and disconnected, and then we're gonna start working on this upper plenum. While I get started, I got a quick announcement I'd like to make. Considering how we are now entering the warmer climate season, we have begun, or are holding actually, we are holding our first ever clearance sale at RainmanRaysRepairs.com in the merchandise store. We've got some, you need to know what you're doing so you don't die, and everything is a hammer t-shirt line. Now, I've got those same designs on some hooded sweatshirts, but considering that we are entering the warmer season, I do not have much of a need for hooded sweatshirts. So what we are doing is putting those units on sale at 20% off. It will give it'll give an automatic discount off the menu price in the shopping cart just by placing the hooded sweatshirt in the shopping cart. Now, it gets a little bit better than that. I juiced up the deal slightly. That 20% will apply to the entire order. So if you get like a sticker or one of my keychains or like a coffee mug or a tumbler or even just a t-shirt, the entire order will receive a 20% off discount just by adding the hooded sweatshirts to the order. Now, I realize that most people do not care about channel merchandise or custom merchandise or YouTube people merchandise, and that's fine. I'm not being pushy, I'm not being a salesman, just letting you know that's stuff that we do sell in the merch store. Yeah, I said merch just then. And I'd like to offer that to the diehards only, the folks that appreciate it. That's why I built the store, and that's why I'm running a promo, because I'd like to keep my store going, and we are attempting to move inventory and change things up a little bit to follow with the changing seasons. So again, 20% off the entire order if you place a hooded sweatshirt in the shopping cart. Should for some reason, because I always like to hedge my bets, if for any reason that discount does not apply, please feel free to contact us at the email address provided, and which is in the store. You'll see it clearly, and we will resolve the issue with you as soon as possible. I'm not saying there are issues, but again, the store is fresh and our website is fresh, and errors and bugs do happen. So if it does occur, I need the feedback, because I like to make things function as designed, and I like to follow up on that. It's just what I do. And that will conclude my moment of shameless self-promotion. So we may now continue on with the task at hand here, getting all this stuff apart. That one's stuck on there pretty good. That's fine though. We have a specialized tooling for such situations right here. Beautiful. Love having the right tool for the right job. Missed a 10 for a bracket. I did see some couple missing fasteners already on this thing, so that tells me someone's been in here once upon a time. Couple more sneaky little hidden buggers back here around the back side. One there, I see it. That one right there. Another. There's a bunch of them back here. And there's probably one, yeah, right there. I feel it. Can't see it, but I feel it. I think that's all of them around the perimeter of this upper plenum. Let's check over here by the throttle body. Probably there's another one or two back there. Yeah, there it is. I see you. Unclickage. Okay, throttle body. Yep, that's loose. Okay, we've got the connector for the throttle body here. That's oh, how do I get you to come off? I don't want to break the clips. There we go. Connector's loose, and there's probably a few more vacuum hoses. I can see one right there, and I bet you there's one or two on the bottom. Let's get this one unclamped a little bit. This one goes to the evap purge solenoid. Wiggle that guy off, and pick her up off the studs. Oh, what are we hung up on here? Ah, yep, look at there. There's another hose. That one's running down to, I think that's a coolant hose right there. Yeah, that might be coolant. I think it's running down to a heater core pipe or something. Let me get this one disconnected here. Bear with me, folks. This is not a very good angle to work with. The business end of this clamp is pointing away from me, and I can't really get this thing to turn in a fashion where I can get a hold of it. There we go. Okay, we'll give it some twists right here. Break up the surface adhesion between the hose and little pipe there. And yeah, that's definitely coolant. Okay. So what I need to do is kind of tuck this thing out of the way and off to the side. Keep the coolant from draining out of it. Here, we'll take it and stick that up inside of right there. That'll elevate it so it cannot leak. Okay, so we got flashlight. We got one coolant hose removed here. That's the other one, and again, the clamp business end of it is pointing away from me, so I'm going to try to rotate the clamp. We'll rotate it around so I can get to this side of it, and then we can disconnect it here. There we go. Really, really tight squeeze in there. It almost feels like I'm doing this incorrectly. Like it shouldn't be that difficult. Yeah, that ought to be fun to put back in, and also looks very easy to tear this hose because it's under a bit of strain with this intake being lifted the way that it is. If this plastic or rubber was in any worse shape, I'd be tearing it to pieces right now. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so now I can pull the entire upper intake plenum off, the top cover. Throttle body comes with it. Okay, so at this point, it looks like there's just 6 more fasteners that are holding the lower intake down. So let's pull these bolts out. I hope there's just 6. Wrong, I found another one. There's one right down here in front of us. It just goes to a bracket, but it's there regardless. And it looks like that bracket needs to be removed right here. I don't know why this was loose. And this thing's like a big old catch-22 of parts being in the way of other parts. Nissan things. Okay, the lower intake's coming off, and look at here, more hose is going to it. I think that's coolant as well. I hope there's not one in the back, which I'm sure there is. I sure hope there's a good reason for this intake design. It would be disturbing to find out that they just felt like it. I mean, it's a pretty big manifold. Same procedure here. I'm just kind of pulling on this thing, giving it some pressure and twisting it to break the friction, and she slides right off, kind of. Patience. You know, folks like to, they comment about how I've got incredible patience. With stuff like this, if you do not have patience, you'll break things. There we go. Now, we found the engine. Look at that. Yay! Okay, so here's our lower plenum gasket. This one goes away. We have a replacement in the kit. Let's go ahead and protect the engine. Throw some towels down inside of these intake runners, just in case something falls in there and I don't notice. See, something falling in the hole is not a huge deal. 99% of the time you can just retrieve it, but it's when it falls in and you don't know about it that causes massive catastrophic damages. So we can see here on this passenger side valve cover, there's a bunch of oil saturation. It's coming from that corner, but it seems to have migrated its way up here to the top. We need to go ahead and get this harness disconnected. We'll unplug the coils, get these things pulled out, and then we can get to the perimeter bolts around both valve covers and get those guys removed. So it looks like there's more plumbing and emissions equipment on this side than this side, and I like to do the hardest side first, so we're going to continue over here in this corner. So right, ooh, that looks like a hose to tear. There's a crossover PCV hose right here that runs between the two covers. I have to make sure that this does not get hurt during disassembly. But what I want to do is remove all the harnesses and wires that are connected to the actual cover itself and pull these things aside. There's one right here. Good to go. See, everything is a hammer, just like my hooded sweatshirt says. Haha! See what I did there? Clever, no? Unsubscribe! I don't come here for you to peddle your wares. I come here to learn about cars. Wow. This harness is definitely comfortable where it's at. I fear tugging on things too much. It might damage the plastic. Dang. Okay, I don't really know where to kind of start with this. These connectors are a mess. I'm just gonna start removing things until it starts doing what I want, I suppose. That one doesn't want to come apart. I'm not liking this. Kinda. I'm really not liking this. Here, I know, I need more space, so I'll make it. Normally I would disconnect the coils before removing them, but since this wiring harness appears to be an immovable object, I'll just work around it until I get all the other immovable objects removed, and then maybe I can get the thing apart. A lot of work for a valve cover gasket. There we go. These look kind of fresh, as if they've been replaced once upon a time. So there's a good possibility in here we're gonna find some good spark plugs, and replacing them will not be necessary. There we go, second coil. Yeah, we're kind of getting somewhere, I suppose. Let's get this bolt out. Yeah. Look, this is a different bolt than the other ones for the coils. So yeah, we've someone's been in here before, probably just doing some tune-up action. Let's dig this coil out next. Yeah, they're in there deep too. Gotta pry them out with a trim tool. Okay, so yeah, look at this. I can't get it out that way and I can't get it this way, so I had to pull it up, then disconnect it, then we'll rotate it, and then extract it. There we go. We're getting somewhere now, I guess. Sort of, maybe a little bit. Oh, this is cute. So there's this harness coming over that's clipped into this bracket right here, and the bracket's bolted down, but I can't get to the bolt because this connector's in the way, and the harness is in the way, but I can't get the harness off because it's really stuck on the bracket, and I'm frustrated at why this has to be so difficult. It's not that it's difficult, it's just annoying. I'm very annoyed at all this bracket system business on this this harness. It doesn't have to be this way. I'm not whining, but this is remarkably frustrating. I suppose if it was like a newer vehicle, this wouldn't be so bad because I wouldn't have to worry about the brittleness of all these other parts. Since this thing's got some time on it, well, everything's brittle and it's falling apart. I mean, what can I say? All the convolute, if you manipulate it too much, it's gonna crumble. I still can't get this connector to unconnect there. Oh, see, I summoned the rage right there. The dark side of the force. I still need to get one socket on this. Just please go on there. There. That'll be really fun to re-secure later. And look at that, I gained an inch of space. That's fantastical. Man, you guys, I'm feeling so defeated by this wiring harness. This has got to be one of the worst ever, I think. I mean, look at the situation right here. So I'm just trying to get some more space for this piece of the harness to pull it aside, right? I go to disconnect this solenoid and I can't even get the connector to come off, like barely, because it's running into stuff, and it's the whole thing. I'm very discouraged. Like what is this? Look at this. Look at this business right here. What purpose does this serve to be so complicated? I'm really frustrated at what's happening here on this job. I mean, I'm getting through it, and I disconnected a lot of stuff when you guys weren't looking, just because it's remarkably tedious. Like here's a great example. Down below, I thought what I would do is strobe you guys to death. What I thought I was going to do here is take this wire connector loose from the alternator. There's two connections on the alternator, and what I didn't see is that there's another wire at the end of that harness that goes down under the engine. So I'd have to lift this thing up and pull the panels off just to get that connector off, and I can't reach it from up here. So it's like I'm defeated at every single turn I try to make here. I mean, I'm getting through it, but it's very frustrating for me, and I dislike it very much so. So yeah, I'm going to consider this engine to be the worst wiring harness ever designed by an OEM. But it is a Nissan, or an Infiniti, which is a company of Nissan, and I do refer to them as the Chrysler of Japan. So I guess it makes sense in that regard. But and I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but this is just aggravating. Anyway, I think at this point I've got enough stuff disassembled to be able to get the valve covers to come off if I can get this PCV hose to come off of here. This is a hardened and brittle hose, and it crosses over between the two cylinder heads. And the risky part, look at this, the little tip nozzle business here is plastic, and plastic right here. So one little oopsie, if I break this plastic, I have to put new valve covers on this, which I do not have. So I'm sweating bullets right now, guys. And what's really got me a little stressed is, again, the guy that owns this car needs it back ahead of schedule, because he's got to return home early for unknown reasons, but there's a matter of urgency on this vehicle, and I need to get it back to who owns it like today, as soon as possible. So now I'm feeling some pressure, and it's fighting me, but I'm gonna get through this. Persistence is going to win in this one. Persistence, patience, and diligence. So I think I have enough space here to get this cover disconnected and slipped out. So let's start getting the bolts removed. Am I dead? Yep. Hey, no worries, tactical reload. Drop your mag, load another one, slap it in, and uh-oh. Did I just load another dead battery? Hang on. Grab another one. Double tactical reload. There we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, now we got some speed from this ratchet. Okay, so this, look here, here's another little silly problem. So I went through that bit of stress getting this hose off without breaking it, right? But look at here, I've got to get this one off as well without breaking it, because I can't get to that bolt right there. So not only did I get through that once, we got to do it again with the other side. So it's got to come off completely. Yeah, we're definitely trying my patience on this one. I'm being put to the test, big time. Oh, come on. Yeah, it's moving a little bit. And it just went back. There we go, we'll try it again. Pull, 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 wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah, it's coming off. Please don't break. Yeah. All right, look at that. Yep, didn't break it. This is very hardened and brittle, but it's off. So let's get that bolt out. Next one over here in the front. And the rest are going to be down on the bottom side of the valve cover, down through this area here. Okay, reaching in. Under this coolant line, or coolant hose or whatever, this big tube here. There's one, another one hanging out in the middle. Got that one. Another a little farther back, and again I got to squeeze past this coolant hose business. Should have been an astronaut, you guys. Come here, bolt. This ought to be fun to put back in. There she comes. There she was, just coming out of the valve cover. Do 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 dee dum diddy do. Where did I go wrong? This is not a lot of fun, but we're gonna get through it because that's what I gotta do. And I dropped my 10mm. You know, it's This is like a Monday kind of job happening on a Friday. Frantic Friday. That's what we're gonna call this one. Frantic Friday today. Oh, I can't reach it from the other side because there's a hose under this hose. See, it's stuff like this that makes me run my mouth. It's not really a natural thing for me. But you engineers, you guys, you know who you are. And the guy that built it's like, well, I mean, if you pull the engine out, it's a lot easier to access those components, and you know, that's how we designed it. So, you know, just go ahead and remove engine and you'll be fine. There we go. Okay, there's that one, and there should be one more probably back here in the center. Okay, there it is. That's the last of the Mohicans, I think. Let's crack this cover loose. That sounds brittle, doesn't it? Snap, crackle, pop, break. Okay, the cover's not coming off. There is not the space available to remove it. Nice. Well, looks like I've got to pull the VVT solenoid. That guy's got to come off this thing. I was hoping to work around it, but she's coming apart. Okay, I'm going to keep the bolts with the solenoid just to maintain some order here. So how about now? Is it going to come out now? There's our gasket. My darling, yes. Would you take this this gasket right here, and it's called a VVT solenoid gasket. Can you take that so you know what it looks like and order 2 of those from whoever has them? I need them like right now. Right now. Yep, right now. Thank you, dear. VVT solenoid. VVT solenoid gaskets, yeah. I don't care if you have to drive to North Carolina to pick them up. We need those today so we can get this man, we got to get this man his car back. It is imperative. Under pressure. Ding, 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 ding. Come on out of here. I can feel the gasket. It's like, it feels like plastic, completely hardened from heat. I'm still hung up in that back corner. We're so very close. There it is. Yay, we got it. She's out. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got the cover off. Here is our old gasket. Now look here. Look how flattened out and brittle this thing really is. It is not rubber and flexible like the replacement gasket. This thing is hardened and yep, very brittle. What, broke it right off right there? It's super hardened due to heat cycling, and that is definitely not going to seal very well because it is no longer pliable. So that is junk. We need to replace it with the new one. Now, one other thing that I dislike about the Nissans is the gaskets here inside, which are the seals for the spark plug tubes. These are actually non-serviceable. So my guy knew about this. We talked about it beforehand, and we weren't too interested in replacing the actual cover due to the cost. So what we decided to do was play it by ear, and if we found that there was no oil inside of the spark plug tubes down in the holes, which no oil, no oil, no oil, we are going to determine that it's going to be acceptable to reuse those valve covers. So since we are on a time crunch due to circumstances, I'm gonna let this one slide as it is because this is kind of a dire situation. So we're not gonna go the replacing of the entire valve cover route. I know that will displease some of you and it's not my preferred method, but it is what we have to do. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm working against the clock. I'm gonna get this thing set up on the cover, and we're gonna get this cover reinstalled and move on to the next one. So I'm trying to pick up my pace here. Okay, so I've got the gasket set up in the cover. Over here on the cylinder head, I've got some liquid RTV sealant in the corners where it needs to be. There's a gap between here and here where there's two pieces of metal where the timing cover bolts on, or the front of the cover, and that area requires a bit of sealant to prevent oil from wicking out at that little gap. So I've got the sealant in place. Now comes the challenging part, where I've got to maneuver that cover back into this position without rolling the gasket out of the groove in the cover. Now this gasket, it's pretty firm in its position in there, and it's going to hold very well. So I'm pretty sure as long as I don't aggressively slide this across any kind of surfaces, it should line up and go into position quite easily, I think. I am inserting my foot in my mouth right now because I just slid the gasket out of the groove. Yep, look at there. That's the dangerous part. You do that incorrectly and not notice it, and you will fail to seal. And then I'll be doing this all over again after dark because, like I said, I gotta get this thing back to the owner as soon as possible, like now. I'm stressing just a little bit, especially since there's no clearance anywhere here. Some stuff falling down. That was me. I knocked over my ratchet. Okay, I need to take a peek down under there in the back of this and make sure that that seal is still in place. I'm going to try to reach around, hold it in position, and then slide this thing back and under this harness right here. This harness is what's getting me. It just doesn't give me the space that I need. Oh, I'm very frustrated. I know you guys are probably tired of hearing me whine about how hard this is. Under a lot of pressure. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I can see where that gasket's wanting to slide out, and I just lost it again. Oh man, I got it in position, but it slid out of its groove. Let me try to pick it up. My fingers are under that surface in the corner, and I'm just trying to feel that, make sure it's in the groove. I put it back in, I feel it going in, so I think we're good here. Let me pull it forward towards us a little bit. There we go. That's home. I believe we're good here. I think we got it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this mirror and I'm gonna take a look at the mating surface just to visually identify if that gasket is in position or not. And as long as I can see it where it's supposed to be, then I think we're in business here. Just kind of confirming that everything's lined up. Yep, looking good. Let's check the back. That's looking good, looking good. Yep, okay, I think we're in good shape here. So let's go ahead and get our shouldered valve cover gasket bolts in. You see the shank on it, how it's not threaded. The way this is designed is, as it passes through the holes on the covers, it will only tighten down until it bottoms out. So this can only provide X amount of clamping force. So in a leaking cover slash gasket situation, tightening the bolts will do no good, because the actual gasket material does not determine the amount of clamping force. It's all done pre-measured with the use of these shouldered bolts. And the reason I say that is I have encountered situations before where folks had a leak such as this and they thought they could just go in there and tighten the bolts a little bit, and that would squeeze down and provide more clamping force and thus prevent the leak. But the reality is all that does is stretch out the threads and damage the threaded surfaces in the aluminum. So yeah, if you got a leaking gasket, don't try to tighten the bolts because it will not work. Okay, that one's in. 4 more to go. These are the ones down in the not reachable type of area. Drop those in. I'm doing the thread them in with my fingertip scenario here. Like you just kind of flick them back and forth a little bit. Next one's down there. There we go. 2 to go. Those are the, there's that one that I had to pull out with the pliers, so let's just put it in with the pliers. Long reach, long range. Drop that one in. Ooh, I almost lost it. Get in there. I know you guys can't see what I'm up to here. Really sorry. We're trying to do 7 things at once and do it properly. And this is one of those cases where I don't have the time or the ability to take extra time to do a good job on both facets of my position here. So we're just gonna have to sacrifice some video quality for the sake of time. Rambling, nonsensical babblings, just trying to make sense of my day. Okay, that back bolt's in, electron ratchet, time to go to work. Okay, 10 mil coming back. Oh look, I went the wrong way. Bobble extension, see that? Gives me a little bit of a different angle from a dangly bit here. Thick. So I've got some high hopes since we chose to do the hard part first, or the hard side first, or the side that I perceived to be the hard side. I'm hoping that the driver's side is going to go more smoothly. It better. It needs to. I need it to. We need it to. The fellow that owns this car needs it to. That one there. Okay, that's all the perimeter bolts. Those are all tightened down and in their correct position. This is good. All right, there's hope. We have some hope here. Well, it's not hope. It's gonna be persistence and diligence and patience, despite the lack of time and increased urgency. We're gonna get through this. There we go. Get my 10 back, and I can then connect this piece of connector to that bracket that I just bolted on. Snap that guy into place. Good, okay, so we got one gasket in place. Let's get the VVT solenoid back on. I've already got a set of gaskets for it, so this is good. Okay, new VVT gasket plate. Right there in position, or not. Now it's going to slide off. So what I'll do is we'll put it on the solenoid pack and install as a unit. Right there. feeling good. There we go. Here, let's throw some wire harnesses back in their little connectors here. Get those things back where they go. This side, let's see, this harness needs to go in here somewhere. You know what, we'll deal with the harnesses later. I want to go ahead and pull this other side apart and get the majority of the job done. So we'll deal with those wiring situation problems over there after we seal up this gasket here. So let's do this. We're gonna pull this bracket loose. Not dropping my bolts. There we go. Coil. I haven't checked those spark plugs yet. Oh, by the way, I think that they're actually in pretty good shape. They looked pretty good from just the top down. I'm not gonna forget to do that, but I believe that they looked new, and I believe these coils have been replaced as well. So I'm fairly certain I will not have to replace these spark plugs, but I will check them before we button everything back up. At least one. I'll pull at least one out. If one's good, then I will assume that the rest are in similar condition. Get that out of here. And then this one there. Okay. Yeah, that's all looking fairly good. Oh, look at this. Look here. This is gonna be fun. So this coolant line right here, this rubber hose going into the heater core, is gonna be in the way of getting this cover to come off. So I'm gonna have to detach this coolant line right here, which means we're gonna be spilling a bit of coolant out. Well, we're gonna cross that bridge in a minute. Let's get the VVT solenoid disconnected and removed, and then we'll worry about that cooling line. Get rid of that old gasket. Don't need you, and I'm not going to reuse it. Yeah, we can hang that aside. Dipstick's in the way. Pull that out. Good. Okay, so our main obstacle at this point is this coolant hose. Got it. So here's what I'm thinking. I was feeling around at the bottom of the radiator, and it does not appear to have a drain. So the hoses are not very accessible for me to try to get to. So what I think I'm gonna do is pull this off, and we're gonna spill some, but I'll just shove some towels or a plug inside of here in order to arrest the coolant that is leaking out. And that'll give me the space that I need here to get this cover off. We're not gonna go very far if I can't get the clamp to unclamp. It's a pretty serious clamp. There we go. Now I see why the workshop manual said to drain engine coolant. That hose is on there pretty good, okay? You know, I don't think that this Infiniti here knows who it's talking to. Getting real tired of these this opposition this thing is presenting me. It's turning into spiteful motivation. Yeah, we're about to get serious with this if this thing doesn't start to do what I say. because it's an inanimate object and I get to treat it with emotion in order to overcome my own personal mental shortcomings on the situation here. Dave's over there looking at me like, what is this man talking about? Almost there. Okay, so I got some, I stole Dave's needle nose vice grips. What I'm gonna do is reach back over here and we're gonna vice grip this hose shut. It's gonna stop some of the coolant from leaking out. A little bit tighter. And then I'll just shove a towel or something in the other piece to prevent the hard line from leaking. I think that'll work. Oh, there we go. Cool. It won't leak because there is nowhere for air to enter. This is good. So we'll take that, stick it over there. We'll stick it under whatever this little line is, plastic. And we'll tuck this thing in right back there. That'll hold it. Now we got good access to all the fasteners on the cover. Good, 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 good. Let's get this apart. Ah, my knuckle's stuck. There. There's one in the back. Can't see it. Need to switch out to a deep well. Wrong angle for that extension. Back to the extension. I think I've got 2 more fasteners left here, I believe. Yep, there's one. Last one right here. Okay. I need a pry driver. Let's get under it with the little mini pry bar here. That should do it, right? No? The sealant's got me sealed up. Did I get all the bolts? Yeah, I did. There we go. Beautiful. Yeah, look at that one. Pre-broke. Oh, look at it. Broke again. Yeah, you look at it wrong and it snaps right off. How about that? Okay. A little bit of a razor blade action at the sealant in the corners. Just get that old sealant out of there to make way for the new stuff. Whoop. Gravitas. That's Latin. That's Latin for gravity. I think it's Latin. I don't speak Latin. Never took Latin in school. I don't believe they offer it anymore. You know, that old world stuff. We don't need that. We got new age technology now. We're gonna learn coding instead. This is fun. Get out of there. Okay. Escalation. Where's my super scraper? Yeah, we'll get that stuff out of there. I'll super scraper it with a carbide scraper. Yeah, that'll fix it. At least get the bulk of it out, and then I can trim it up with the blade. There we go. Okay, there's that section, and then we've got this other little piece, other corner right down there. Yeah, I'm not gonna film that. It's dark and cumbersome. I can go in there with the razor blade, clean up this corner. Then I need to wipe this down. I'll re-gasket that and plop the new one back in. Multiple moments later, we got these corners cleaned up, with the exception of that piece that I just saw that I missed. And I am now in preparation and ready to get the sealant in position down here. We'll throw some new sealant in. And that's in there deep. Oh, there's a ridge, I see. And there's a ridge, and this is overflow, no big deal. Okay, well, I got that corner down there cleaned out. This corner's cleaned out. We wiped down the sealing surface. The gasket is in position here. Let's grab the RTV silicone sealant. We'll get a nice dab in the corner. Right about there, looks good. And then another down here in this corner. Hard to see, but we're gonna throw it in there. There we go. Probably a little more. Hello, flashlight. Goodbye. Come here. A little bit more than necessary, I think, down there, but come here. We're not taking any chances. Put that down right where it should be. There we go. That's good. Now we'll let's go ahead and get this cover in position and bolt her back down. By the way, I've also come in here and kind of wiped down and blown away any dust that ended up on these cam lobes, so we don't inadvertently cause some damages, because that would also be very bad. I'm in the business of fixing things, not breaking them. You got to make sure your internals stay clean. Okay, turn this guy. Yeah, this side is infinitely easier than that passenger side was. All right, the cover is seated in position. It's located by the seals around the spark plug tubes. So now we just need to get the bolts dropped in, threaded up, torqued down, and then the rest of it is piecing the harness back together. Then we can get that intake back on. And I still have not forgotten to check a spark plug, but we will. No worries. Okay, a couple more fasteners coming in down here in the depths on the leaker side. I call it the leaker side because the gravity is going to bring the oil over there. This side's higher up, so you're never going to get a leak in the valley. You're always going to leak on the exhaust. So yeah, the leaker side. Let's get these last fasteners in, and we'll torque them down and tighten them up and all that good stuff. That one, I can't find the hole. We'll switch hands here. Get a better angle on it. Oh, come on, get threaded in there. There we go. Nope, not straight. There, got it. Okay, we have one more back here in the corner. I think I'm in the hole there. Can't, yep, there you go, slipped in, felt it. And then this one, last one right here in the center. Come on, come on. There it is, that one's in. A couple turns to start the threads. And we're good to go. Let's get them tightened down.
There we go. Two more over here. Back down at the bottom again. That one. Okay, then there's three more here on the back side. Switch out the socket for that corner. Down there. Oh, come on.
There it is, that was it. Need that little extra. Last one in the center. Slippages. I know. We'll go back to the extension. There we go. Cool beans. Okay, let's get some clean towel here. And we're gonna wipe off the gasket surface for this VVT solenoid. Wipe off the solenoid itself. We'll get this thing back in position with its gasket, with a new one. Shapes and colors, Ray. Shapes and colors, what are we doing? Is it not the right one? No, it's upside down. I'm silly. Okay. Shoe, where'd I put my bolts? You'll notice I did not disconnect this. Getting skipping steps in my urgency. There we go. So I was reading comments the other day, and someone said that I do not have a Florida accent. And I'm pretty sure I'm aware I don't have a Florida accent. I don't say that in a snarky fashion. I've had a lot of exposure to a lot of different accents around the country. And I think that my speech pattern is like a blend of several accents and phrases and things of that nature. I understand, or I recognize that it's probably fairly unique, but I'm wondering what's the general consensus on my speech pattern? How do you guys think my accent is, or do you ever hear any accent from me? And if so, what type of accent is it? Because I've never really thought about that myself, but I do wonder, since it was mentioned by a viewer, I do wonder if anybody notices any kind of speech accent. That one left pretty hardcore. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do I have an accent? And if so, where do you think it is from? And is it strong, is it weak, or or just let me know what you think about my speech patterns in general. And I know I slip up with the words of the tongue every now and then. That's not an accent situation, that's probably something else. Maybe some dyslexia or something, but I often wondered like how I sound, because I do know that I've been around many different types of dialects. I'm not going to say where I've lived, because that might give it away. Perhaps if we get enough comments on my perceived accent, and we get enough people that try to pinpoint a general region, I'll tell the story on where I've lived and how long and things like that, and we can see how close the viewer estimates were to the actual reality of my speech pattern learning experience. You know what else is a learning experience? This stupid clamp right here. Yeah, let's try something. Take that back off. This hose is slightly kind of swollen and flared out a little bit. Yeah. Get in there. Please get in there. Oh, this is hurting. Ooh, different pliers. Yeah, the hose clamp pliers do not stand a chance against this this particular hose clamp. Ooh, that could have hurt. The snapback effect on these types of clamps is a very real phenomenon. snapback will flick you in the finger and bone bruise you if it gets you the right way. Break a knuckle. Okay, so now the clamp's on the hose. Let's unclamp it again. Slip the hose down. Oh, come on now. I'll tell you, this thing is fighting me. It's because there's a level of urgency, and Murphy's Law is a real thing, especially in this business. A little bit more. It's not down as far as it was when I found it. There. Let's straighten it up, put it right here. Okay, good to go. That thing's on. Woohoo! Okay, coming in, a little 10 mil on this bracket right here. Let's start getting all these, oh no, 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 no. That's for the ignition coil. I gotta get that out of the way. Can't put the coil in with the bracket on, so let's pull a plug real quick and see what it looks like. Here, I choose this center spark plug right here. It's the easiest one, I think. Oh, these are fantastic. Yeah, NGK iridiums, that's the same thing we have over there in the boxes. Yeah, these things are looking good. We are not selling spark plugs today. Nope. Just gonna put that right back where I found it. Someone's already been here, done that. So now we know. That means my bill is gonna be less than oh my god, I thought it was gonna be. This is good. I like saving money. See how integrity can actually cost someone short term, but the long-term benefit has vastly more potential to outweigh the short-term gain. That's a hard lesson to learn. PCV hose going back on. Here we go. Snap. Next one going on. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, that's good. So let's start getting coils dropped in. I am going to reapply some dielectric grease to these guys because there's really not much in there. There was some factory grease that they put in and no more, so I'm going to add a little bit extra. You know, dielectric is actually non-conductive. It's here to contain the electrons so they don't find a better path to come out, and it prevents moisture from getting into those holes down there. So here, we'll set these up, and I think I need to get them plugged in before I push them down. So we'll get all these plugs in order. There's that one there, and then this one's curving around, so that tells me this one plugs into this location here. It actually looks like it's easy to get these plug wires backwards. That would be fun. Put your intake manifold on and you got two plugs or two coils connected in the wrong spot. That'll wreck your day. Okay, those guys are in. Let's get the... No, you don't, flashlight. There's already one missing down there. Just stay right here with me. There's one 10 mil for our front coil, which you can't see because the camera's not pointing the right way, and got an oil filler neck thing in the way. Thickage. Alright guys, next. This thing went right here. It's the bracket for the harness. I don't know if it's in use anymore. Like, I don't know if there's, what do you call it? If the harness piece clips into it. Yeah, that's what I meant. I was looking at something else and not thinking about what I was trying to say. I don't know if that bracket has anything that goes to it. There. Coil kickage. And then this little bracket that bolts on back there. Oh, shnikes, I dropped my fastener. Got it. Oh, give me back my glove. Man, this thing is, it's trying me. Look at that. I had my glove wrapped around in it. Kickage on that one. Good. Let's see, this piece of wire harness connects to that connector, which is broken off. Okay, so that can't reconnect, it's broken. That's not cool. Zip tie. Okay, one zip tie coming in. We'll loop it around, go under that bracket, over this bit of connector right here. There we go. Get rid of the waste. Okay, one more bracket I'm looking at right down here below. Take another 10, secure this bracket. That's good. So the harness is all set on this side. Very nice. Okay, let's move it on back over. We'll set up the coils on this side, bolt these units down, and then get the rest of this harness buttoned up. A little bit of grease in the hole. Get in there. Stay in there. There we go. Oh yeah, I've got that silly other piece of harness somewhere that I need to squeeze in here. I recall. So here, let's go with what I know, and that's going to be, I know this connector goes to this coil because it cannot reach any other coil. Get that down into place, and we'll throw a bolt in it. So we can get that rear coil buttoned up. That one's pretty self-explanatory. There we go. Now this conglomeration of components here, looks like this is the connector for the front coil, this is the connector for the middle, and then I think that went like that. No, it went this way because this green connector is the one that goes to the VVT solenoid, the one that I could barely get out of the hole down there. So we'll start with that one because we know that it goes there, and we'll let the molded contours of the wire guide us the rest of the way. Sound good? I think it does. So plug in our first coil here. You can go ahead and bolt that one down. Yeah, real easy. Harness goes under this thing, and then this is the connector for the middle coil. Good, now I can bolt that one down. Okay, last coil fastener Let's get that one in. Okay, that's all 3 coils connected in position. That bracket's bracketed. This one, how did this go? I think this went, that clipped in here. These connected together. And I think that this bracket bolted in right here. I think that's how that went. Let's find out. Yes. No, maybe so. It has to, but it's not, that's weird. Oh, it goes like this. I see how we're doing that. We have to stick it under the harness, never to be seen again. Okay. It's hard to reach, hard to see, hard to narrate, keep you viewers' attention when all you're doing is watching my fingers fiddle. But I try. Bracket clickage. Take those guys and tuck them in just so that it's not sticking out, vibrating around. That's good. All right, let's go ahead and pull out all of our towels here. Uh-oh. Come here, towel. Get out of there. Don't need that. Quick blast of air, just in case anything's inside. There's more air going in than what can blow into the cylinder, so if there is dirt, the swirling of all that air blowing around will blow it out. It will not blow it in. I mean, it can blow it in, but this way is highly effective. We have a new gasket for the lower manifold that's in place. So now, double checking all the connectors, everything down here is looking good. We're sealed, we're tight. Let's bring in the lower plenum and we'll drop that into position. There are 2 studs, one here in the front to align it, and then there's another stud just like this one in the back. So we line those 2 studs up. Hang on, there's a bunch of dirt on this thing. I need to blow it off. That's not okay. There's a lot of dirt in there. Not anymore. Ah, look at that. There's a lot of dirt in there. Not anymore. Okay, let's try that again. Let's see, taking a look inside of the runners, that's all clear. The dirt is blown away. This is good. Bottom. I blew some dirt down through the bottom. Let's wipe that stuff down real quick. There we go. Nice and shiny-ish. That'll do. Okay, so now, back to where we just were. Set this plenum down over the 2 studs. That's where she lives. Good. Let's go ahead and get the upper gasket in place. It's a big old honking thing. That doesn't fit. And in this orientation, it does fit. Good. So we'll take this little plate thing, put that back on. Not sure what the purpose of that is, but I'm sure it has a reason for existing. Let's get our big bolts dropped in. And our little nuts. We'll screw those in too. 2 more big bolts in the back. And 1 more little nut way out back where we can't see it. Unanimous. Good, good, good. So right here, we've got the one PCV hose. One more PCV hose, rather. Uh-oh. That one's brittle, and I probably should have put it on before I bolted this plenum down. It flexed just enough. Look at that. Just enough to get it in. Did you guys see? No. Camera pointing the wrong way. Sorry. Got this hose on that little fitting right there. Let's put the clamp on. Clamps in position. Okay, we're in the home stretch. Coming in with the upper intake. Now this is slightly challenging. I believe the old gasket that was in this position right here was like a metallic type of gasket, and this one is more of like a paper gasket, so I can't gouge this thing up with this manifold. If you recall, when I took it apart, I had the manifold kind of resting on this lower manifold when I was trying to get these lines off of here, and I fear doing that because I could tear this paper gasket. So this part's got me a little nerve-wracked. I think I'm gonna be able to pull it off though. Oh, I almost dropped another flashlight. Caught that one mid-air. I tell you, there's this flashlight phenomenon. It's killer. Okay. Stretch this hose out a little bit and get you plugged in. There we go. Okay, no damage to my gasket because nothing has touched it. Good. Let's seat this manifold back on. Very, very nice. Except for this thing right here. Come here. There we go. That's good. Sweet, we're getting somewhere. Let's drop some bolts in. Make sure everybody threads up. This one's too long for that location. It does not go there, but it does go there. Another long one. Too long. Let's try this one out back. That one's good there. And then one more shorter one here. Oh yeah, the tray is becoming empty. Drop them in, just going all the way around. Looks like there's 2 nuts, and the rest are these mid-length bolts. Na 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 na. How many more? There's one. I think there's one right here. Yep. Get that one in, and then the nut. One more should go, I think, right there. Excellent. Ooh, buddy. Oh, you know what? While we're here, I'm not gonna forget to plug that guy in. It's the throttle body connector. We need that one. Very good. Okay, let's run the remainder of these fasteners down, and we'll be down to just a couple vacuum hoses and any intake plumbing. there a bolt there? Yeah. And then the last one I think, down here in the back. Excellent. Oh, missed one. There. Now it's excellent. Okay, let's get the last of our vacuum connections reconnectioned. Ooh, look, I forgot one. That one goes, get on there. Okay, this one, that one went up there. I might have missed it, but we would have found that one pretty quick. And that thing, gotta get that thing bolted on. One more fastener. That's the bracket for the PCV. Good to go here. Clickage, good. All right, so let's get our last clamp. That's in position there. Good, good, good. Everybody's tight. Harnesses are on, ground wires are on. Everybody's connected down back at the alternator. This is all connected. Let's get the intake tube on. Then we can fire this thing up and give it a good leak down check. Visual, I mean, we can't really do a leak down, that was the wrong word. We can visually inspect the system for continued leakages. And I'm gonna go hose the thing off, rinse off as much of that residual oil as possible. I'm never gonna get it all the way clean, but I can try, right? Oh, tight squeeze. It's very tight. How did I get this off? Oh, there we go. Good. That's on. Clamp. Good. And up here, one more clamp. Got a whole tool just for 1/8 millimeter. Let's put our hose back in. Alright, good to go. I think we're ready to rock and roll here. Excellent. Let's clean my goodies out and we're gonna head inside, hit the key and restart the engine. Okay, we're all cleaned off. Let's fire it up and listen for intake leaks. Then we'll raise her back up in the air and then take a look, make sure we're not dripping oil everywhere. And this thing should be good to go. Beginning engine starting sequence now. Aha! It is alive! So we're listening for hissing noise, vacuum leaks, things of that nature. I do not hear anything. I do have a missed bolt right there, see that? Oh, look, I see it, look, that's where I lost it right there. So here, maneuver this guy back out. You gonna make it, or I gotta unclamp it again? Oh, barely. There we go. Good. Excellent. Okie dokes. So, I hear no vacuum leaks. Got one more missed clamp. And see, you get into a rush and then the brain forgets to do things. Come here, buyers. That clamp is good to go. Excellent. Real quick, let me check the coolant level because we did spill a little bit. I don't know if it was even enough to make a difference on coolant. Nope, 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 nope. Making a mess. Okay, so coolant's fine. Let's run this thing up in the air. Take a look down below, make sure it's not dumping oil out everywhere. Dude, my fingers are gross. Now, if there's a slow leak like the one we just attempted to repair, we're not going to see a drip. What I'm looking for is just oil just pouring out of the thing, because if I failed on aligning that gasket properly, it's going to dump that oil out very aggressively, and we're going to see it. There'll be rolling smoke off the manifolds, and it'll be very obvious and apparent. Okay, back at the top. I'm not seeing a bunch of drains and drippages everywhere. This is good. Yeah, almost no coolant in the bottle, so I don't think we spilled anything of any amount of significance. Not seeing oil everywhere. All this looks good. Yeah, we're not running out. Yeah, very nice. Same thing on this side. Okay, let's go ahead and let her down again, and I'm gonna back this thing out and hose it off in an attempt to get rid of all those oil drips that this vehicle happens to suffer from. Coming down, all the way down. Contact. We have cheap ground contact. Beautiful. Okay, let's kick the rack out. Gotta clear my we're stuck on. Oh, that goes that way. Got to clear the flashlights from under the hood. Get the engine cover back on. There we go. Get rid of that. Alrighty, let's get her backed out and washed off. Now, I know you guys just saw me clear the rack. I actually reset the rack and put it back up in the air because we changed the oil on it as well. I didn't know we were doing an oil change. I looked at my RO, and it turns out we are doing an oil change, so I went ahead and did that when you guys weren't looking. So I figured you didn't want to see an oil change video, so I did not include that segment in this repair. Anyway, let's get her backed out real quick and washed down. I believe this is a resounding success. We have solved the leak problem. Saved my guy some money because I returned his spark plugs that I did not need to use, and look at there, we set the tire pressure and got the TPMS light to go off as well. So guys, I do not believe I have anything more to offer you on this particular Infiniti Nissan video other than a thank you for watching this video. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, I would only ask of you to let me know about that in the comment section down below. Do not forget to engage that like button while you're down there if in fact you did like this video. If you have not done so already and would like to see additional content of this nature, please consider subscribing to the channel. That way you can receive a notification every time I post a new upload. And now, the part that everybody loves to hate. Let's make it nice and shiny. We're gonna rinse all that old oil off, get rid of the dust, the dirt, the debris, the fingerprints, make it look like we did something in here, make it look like we care. And I also tightened up the belts, so let's see if they're gonna squeal. Oh yeah, look at that. No more squealage. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out. Again, and as always, thank you for watching. And most importantly, before I go, I'd like to remind each and every one of you to have yourselves a fantastic day. See you guys later in a video. In Infiniti, end of Infiniti words, end of valve cover job, end of oil leaker wash down, end of transmission.